On Goobrath recently we've done an experiment and used a force for good as its test subject. After all, they are vermin but not as smart as rats. A bit more of a stench, to be honest. We set up a Twitter account and using my exceptional skills and use Google Bard experiment the Twitter account Jackson Bard was born, and because I'm Scottish and obviously can't read or write, Google Bard experiment came to action. The fictional name of Jackson came from Union Jack flag shaggers and the surname after the Bard experiment. My experience of this communication with my opponents of Farce for Good was very uncomfortable, joining the spaces talking a load of bullshit and better at it than them. It was very easy, and Force for Good was by accident. I was sharing the coronation party George Square and really only to fit in, and suddenly I was elevated in my subversion. I mean, I thought it would have been a large event and suddenly I was on the receiving end of my sovereign Scots on Twitter. Lols, God's sake, share something royal and it's Jimmy Savile memes. Pedo Andrew, you know the rest. I mean, my only way to rebuttal it was to just be a wanker back. It was good for my cover. Oh, where was I? Yes, George Square coronation party. A Farce for Good put up a video asking for people to hold up the God Save the King, and I pretended to help them, shared on my Rangers and Newcastle United page and let them know by sharing their stuff on my football page on Facebook, of which my real name is blocked and has been for years. I will never forget the tweet from a Farce for Good. Think was yes, please sir, or thank you sir. I felt like I was a knight if realm. Oh yeah, there was no party in George Square. Instead we had a Farce for Good hiding at the top of the stairs, Scottish Independence March, and counting, giving false numbers, or maybe they just can't count, lol. Next thing was a gift from God, so I should say lol. God bless. 2 words in a tweet gets you anywhere in your going to hell mob. I tested it out on Calvin Robinson, the hate preaching from Free Church on GBTV, and suddenly I got a reply, God bless, back. I mean, when I asked my trans kid who he was, I was told he was the devil's advocate, anti-trans, anti-gay, and me, the oldest of 10. I have 2 gay brothers, so trying to act like him even more extreme for my cover. And I remember asking my kid for permission to be a hater undercover. And it really turned my stomach, the hate from the God mob ECT. I wrote, well, Google Bard experiment wrote me a blog on genocide in Nigeria on Christians, and I really wouldn't have known about that if I wasn't in Calvin Robinson newsfeed. I used Google Bard to write me blogs for my cover, and that has multiple stories, especially when a Farce for Good was inspired by Jackson Bard blog The Magnificent Mind of Jackson Bard on the ancestry between Elizabeth Stuart and King Charles, of which I learned at Falkland Palace on a visit there. I think Jackson was 2 months old at most, but one night listening to one of the hate spaces and just went fuck it bottle of Bucky and revealed that Jackson Bard is fictional, and of course I screen recorded most of it because I knew I would get blocked. The results are for all to see at Jackson Bard 1872.